best man should win, and if it's the best man we're talking about, it should be Peter. I'm having quite literally the time of my life. Searching for a 5-star right now. I have not read romance of this caliber in too damn long. Hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm just in the mood to binge read some books. I feel like I have been so out of it. Today's Monday, and I'm just in the mood to finish a few books that I'm in the middle of. And yeah, I'm ready to kind of start the year fresh today, and so I really want to read some books between today and tomorrow, see how many I can finish. Okay, so the books that I'm currently reading are, I have the, I think, UK title edition, You and Me on Vacation, but it's People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, and by the time I'm reading this, the movie has already been out for, I think, 3 days, and I am like foaming at the mouth, itching, because I love a good movie. I love a good rom-com. I feel like I'm just as much of a movie lover as I am a book lover. So, like, the trailer of it looks so good. The actors, I love them both. So, yeah, I'm really excited to finish this, but I have not made that much progress. I think I may have made a lot more progress because I was reading it on my phone. Oh yeah. No, still not even there. Wow, I have made like no progress. Okay, yeah, this is about where I got to this morning. So I'm on page 57 at the moment, but I am really liking this. What had happened with this book? This is me thinking retrospectively, trying to figure out why I never finished this, because I had started it before, and I think that I kind of just became a victim of groupthink when I just heard everybody saying people we meet on vacation is their least favorite Emily Henry and stuff like that, and I just feel like I kind of got in my head, and I was like, can I handle the disappointment of not liking the conflict or not liking the characters by the end of it and like the decisions that they made? Can I handle an unsatisfying ending in an Emily Henry book? And I kind of decided that I can't handle that. But I am really enjoying it, and I think I do remember myself enjoying it the first time too. But I'm enjoying it even more this time. Obviously, I still sound kind of nasal, so please forgive me. But yeah, I love their banter. This car ride when they just met each other is just so cute, and I don't know, I definitely like their kind of best friend dynamic, so I'm interested to see how the rest of the story unfolds. And also, this book is the book club book of my cousin's book club that we're having or starting this year. So this is our January book, and we were supposed to meet on January 9th, and nobody finished the book. So we're off to an excellent start, but hello. We're off to an excellent start, but yeah, we moved the date to January 30th, so I obviously have to finish this book by then. But I do think I'm going to finish it quite literally between today and tomorrow, because I am like really obsessed with it. So yeah, that's the first book. The second book is Catching Fire, which is the second book in the Hunger Games trilogy, like the original trilogy. Those are the two books that I'm really like wanting to binge right now.
Right there on top of the moon, we could sit and do nothing. I wish we were bold to just fly away. I don't wanna care, just be here and I'm good alone. I'll be okay, miss you like an old friend.
This might be controversial. Hello, are you coming? Okay, I'm listening to a playlist for the book on Spotify. I'm on page 91 right now. But I love awkward tension. It's just it's so funny to me, and it's also so realistic. It feels very realistic for people who have not spoken or seen each other in 2 years, but have like deep history and long years of friendship under their belt. It just feels really realistic, and I believe the awkwardness and the tension, and then immediately the next minute they're back to like familiarity and normalcy. It's really realistic, and I love it. I think the banter is so well written, as usual. I'm literally not surprised by that. And I also love both of them, like individually. I love Alex. I feel like he is kind of an archetype quiet boy, but I love it. And I also love Poppy and like the little sprinkles of depth that we get through being in her perspective. I just love it. I'm having a really good time with this so far. Hopefully I could get at least like halfway through today, because I really want to watch the movie. I don't know, like part of me is like, should I just bite the bullets and watch a movie? I can't. Not when I have already started the book. If I hadn't started the book, maybe I would have bit the bullet. What are you eating? Literally, what are you eating? Come here. Open. I'm seeing it. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I finished my first little sprint. I want to say it was like 2 hours long. Yeah, it was 2 hours and almost 9 minutes long, and I made a decent amount of progress, to be honest. I literally had to be kind of ripped away from this book when I knew I kind of had to get up and do some stuff around the house. I needed to do some dishes, I needed to clean Stella's kind of area and room, and I also know that I needed to fix the button on my husband's pants. Oh my gosh, wait. Is there a double button? Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, I no longer need to do that. Apparently there's another button on the opposite side. Wow, men's pants are so cool. Okay, don't have to do that anymore, thank God, because I really want to continue reading my book. I have been having such a good time. I have been literally laughing out loud, and not to say that I'm like Scrooge or anything, but I don't always audibly laugh at books. This one is getting me. Something about their humor is really funny to me, and I just love the inside jokes and the wit and the way that jokes like come back around with them. And there's like, they're jokes that could only work when you're super familiar with somebody and you know exactly how to make them laugh and bring things back around. And it's just, I'm having such a good time. I'm loving it. This is so cute. This movie is going to be so good. I'm like blushing. I have not read romance of this caliber in too damn long. I'm literally only on chapter 13. What do you mean? I mean, right here. This is so sad. It's raining. You want to see? I'm on page 229 right now, and I'm having quite literally the time of my life with this book. I am loving it so much, and it is kind of giving me like an existential crisis, because how could I DNF a book that I'm enjoying so much? It really makes me, it is doing something to my DNF stats and tendencies in my brain, because what else am I missing? You know? But I really picked up the camera to talk about this one quote that I read, and it was a while ago. It was on page 180. I have literally not been able to stop thinking about it since I read it. It says, "Can we take a picture together?" I ask. But what I'm thinking is, I wish I could bottle this moment and wear it as a perfume. It would always be with me. Everywhere I went, he'd be there too, and so I'd always feel like myself. That is so cute. That is so cute. They are so cute and so clearly obsessed with each other. Like, what are we doing here, people? Actually, no, in all fairness to this book, I feel like Emily Henry is doing such a good job at depicting like real adult friends to lovers. Because I mean, in childhood, it's easy to kind of like have a crush and like be mixed up with your emotions and just feel like love for somebody of the opposite gender equates to romantic love, and that isn't always the case. However, with like adult friendships, I feel like she's doing such a good job at showing that they really are friends and that they're like supporting each other and loving each other, and you know, okay with each other having other significant others. And like Poppy specifically is in like a place in her life for at least quite a few years in this book where she really does not like see herself doing the marriage and settle down in a small town kind of lifestyle. And so it's kind of showing the reality of maybe they do love each other and they are just not in a place where they're compatible or where they want the same things. And I'm really, really enjoying the way that she's depicting their relationship. I love it. I don't want it to end, but I do want it to end so I can watch the movie. Anyway, I'm signing off for the night. We'll catch up in the morning. Really early. I woke up like 5:30 a.m. and I ended up just binge reading the rest of People We Meet on Vacation, and I ended up landing on a 4.5. I think coming down to the end I got kind of bored, but I don't know, I had a really good time and I loved following these characters and seeing their relationship develop over time and see them as characters kind of grow and come to terms with the feelings and the relationship that they have with each other. I really loved that. In terms of ranking, I think it may sit right above Great Big Beautiful Life, because I feel like while I'm not the biggest fan of beach read, because people are like really obsessed with beach read and I'm not, I do feel like I liked beach read more, and there was a little bit more impact in one certain storyline. In my opinion, I didn't really get any type of emotional impact that much in this one, but I really, really love the characters. These are definitely some of my favorite characters, but not a favorite book, if that makes sense. So my ranking right now would be Great Big Beautiful Life at the bottom, then People We Meet on Vacation, then Beach Read, and then I want to say it's a toss-up between Funny Story and Happy Place. I love both of them, and my number one has and always will be maybe Book Lovers. I literally love that book so deeply. So yeah, solid 4.5. And I picked up Catching Fire again today because I really, really, really want to finish it. I have been reading this book, I want to say, for a month now, so I'm just kind of sick of it, to be honest. I have about 100 more pages and I'm enjoying it. It just it's hard because I really am so familiar with the story that I just feel like there's no, sorry if you hear Stella, she's playing with a bowl, but yeah, I just feel like I'm so familiar with these stories already that there's just no urgency to finish it. But I want to sit down and read at least for like an hour and see how much progress I could make in this, and I will let you know. Okay, I'm sorry for the jump scare. My skin is just acting kind of insane. So Every time I put on the camera, everybody has something to do with a saw specifically. Like I I read quite a bit last night after we spoke, and I think I have less than 50 pages left if I did my math correctly. Yeah, I have about 50 pages left. So I guess I'll give you like my final thoughts, because honestly I don't see myself like recording my reaction or anything to the end of this, because I already know what's about to go down. I'm very aware of the goings on of this book. What I will say is I feel like I enjoyed reading the first book more than I've enjoyed reading the second one. I can't really put my finger on it as to why. I just feel like the first one felt very nostalgic to me. And I also really love the second movie. I think the second movie might objectively be the best. But I think it's just because I just know exactly how things, not exactly, but I know like all of the main plot points and what's going down. So like seeing them in the book, nothing is surprising. I don't really feel any type of way reading them. Like what happened with Sinner, obviously it's sad, but I knew that was about to happen. So it's an interesting reading experience, to be honest. I don't know, I thought I would have enjoyed it more. But the first one, I feel like what happened with that is that was like the backstory. It had a lot more nuance in the first one in terms of the political system and how they got where they are than the movie did. Like I remember I was watching the movie yesterday and they just did like a little write-up in the beginning, and all of the things that followed were like you were just supposed to understand the political system. It wasn't really ingrained. But in the movie, I mean in the book, following Katniss's narrative and like seeing her perspective on the political system and getting all of the nuance of it was a lot more worthwhile, I feel like. And in this one we did get a lot of nuance. Obviously we had a lot more detail than in the movie, but I don't know, it hasn't been hitting the same. What I will say that I have never formed an opinion on in the movies is this love triangle situation, right? It's Katniss at the center. Both of these boys are in love with her. Objective facts. Do we really know if Gale is in love with her? I feel like we just don't get enough screen time with Gale to know where he falls, and they're also like 16. So, and they're also in like such a terrible situation, living conditions wise, and are you even really thinking about romantic love at this point? Maybe they have a crush on each other, and obviously there's a lot of love and care there, but is it like I would die for you love? No. Peter would absolutely die for Katniss. I feel like the stakes of their relationship from the very beginning have been so high and so intense that it's kind of impossible for both of them not to feel such intense emotions and feel so protective. It's almost like a trauma bond. Not almost, it is like a trauma bond between them. So in all fairness to everybody who's team Peter, I understand that he's a yearner and he's a lover, and he's quite literally probably a little bit too perfect. In my opinion, I like Peter more because we get to see a lot more of him, and I just feel like he's a sweet, sensitive guy, and I love that. Gale, I don't understand the Gale hate. I feel like with Gale, he's just a victim of a really messed up society, and he feels like he has to do everything he can to protect the people that he loves, and I feel like he loves really hard. I also don't know what any regular person would do put in that situation where the one person you feel like you could love is on screen either about to die or professing her love for this other guy who, like, you don't know if it's true or not. You don't know if they're playing a part or if this is really how she feels. So it's complicated, and I can't understand why people don't kind of understand Gale's characters and the way that he acts. Is he a sassy man? Yeah, for sure. But I don't know. I think he's just human, and I think that any regular person would kind of respond in some of the ways that he does under the circumstances. But what I'm saying, really, my only real thoughts about this book is that I don't think romantically that Katniss is there. I think that for her, she just loves whoever makes her feel safe in such an incredibly unsafe, unstable environment, especially during this time in the games where death is quite literally imminent all of the time. For her, she is just looking for safety and protection, and so she'll gravitate towards Gale when she's home and when he's there, and then when she's in the games or in the setting of the games, so like even the prelude to the games, Peter is her man. Like, that's my husband, because that is who makes me feel safe. That's who puts me to sleep at night, and who is there when I have a nightmare, and who is there in the games when something is about to happen. You know, like, this is the person who makes me feel safe. Even if she's the one that is protecting him here, there's no doubt that he makes her feel safe in his own right. So I don't, like, I am a lover girl. I love a romance. If you put a romance in there and there's no resolution to it, I will flip my lid. However, I genuinely can't remember how this love triangle ends up. Truthfully, I do not remember the last movie. However, would I be happy if she said that she didn't want to be with anybody? Yeah. I don't see it. Maybe I'm thinking about it too realistically, and it's just a book. So the best man should win, and if it's the best man we're talking about, it should be Peter. Fair enough. I'm open to criticism. That's just my thoughts. So okay, I just finished Catching Fire, and the last page was so insane. Not insane as in I didn't see it coming. As I have said a million times, I am very familiar with the story. But I could appreciate it in that I can't imagine how it would feel to read this at 12 years old. As soon as this book came out, so like you don't even get the continuation of the story. This is like an insane cliffhanger and insane plot twist. Yeah, in 2009, I can't imagine reading this at 10 years old. Like, this would have rocked my world entirely. Really well written, very insane last line. I don't think I remember the last line of the second movie. It may have been this, but I don't know. It was kind of epic, for lack of a better word. But yeah, so this is done. And now I need to choose my next book. I feel like I have one more book in me for the week. It's Thursday right now. So let's see. This shelf here is kind of all of the books that I got over like the Christmas / New Year season. Kind of like my New Year haul. So I would love to pull from that. The Will of the Money is a crazy one. I'm not gonna pick that for anybody who is hoping my hand lands there. I would like what do I want? I want something maybe a little more serious. Not necessarily deep, but I would be fine with deep. Like, I could go for literary fiction, or even like a kind of speculative fiction, maybe. I picked The Starless Stay Up by Erin Morgenstern. Even though I read The Night Circus and didn't like it, I really liked the writing. And I think just based on the synopsis of this one, I feel like it will be more plot driven than the Night Circus was, which was my problem with the Night Circus. I feel like we didn't get enough plot and resolution in that one. It was just kind of vibes, and the plot sounded really high stakes, and then it ended up not being as high stakes as anticipated. So that was kind of my problem. So I'm hoping that I don't have the same fate with this one, but I know that Katie is reading loves this book. I could get into this. I feel like this is kind of the vibe I'm going for. But I also could read The River is Waiting by Wally. This one is I think Goodreads Choice Award nominee, or possibly one, I'm not sure, from last year. And it's an Oprah's book club pick. I know that this one is kind of about fatherhood and loss. Let me read the back. I remember reading it before I ordered it. Corby Ledbetter is struggling. New fatherhood, the loss of his job, and a growing secret addiction have thrown his marriage to his beloved Emily into a tailspin. And that's before he causes the tragedy that tears the family apart. Sentenced to prison, Corby struggles to survive life on the inside, where he bears witness to frightful acts of brutality, but also experiences small acts of kindness. As he counts down the weeks, months, and years of his incarceration, he develops elemental kinships with a tender-hearted cellmate, a troubled teen desperate for a role model, and a prison librarian who sees and nurtures his light. Buoyed by them and by his mother's enduring faith in him, Corby begins to transcend the boundaries of his confinement. Sustained by his hope that mercy and reconciliation might still be possible, can his crimes ever be forgiven by those he loves? Yeah, I'm gonna read this one. There's a reason I immediately added this to cart. That premise sounds exactly up my alley. I feel like I will really, really love this one. I'm also like kind of consciously searching for 5-star right now. People who meet on vacation give me a run for its money. I knew that Catching Fire wouldn't be a 5-star just because I knew where we were going. This is just like my required reading so that I could read Haymitch's story. But yeah, I feel like for the year I've had pretty good reads. I've read 3 books so far, and I need something that's going to like rock my world, you know? I just finished the first chapter of The River is Waiting, and I literally, nothing could have prepared me for that. Literally nothing could have prepared me for that. That is crazy. I literally feel sick to my stomach. I knew it was going to be something bad that he did, obviously, to require this level of forgiveness. What the heck? What the heck? Anyway. Very random filming spot. Acknowledged. I'm in front of my cupboard right now. Giving no updates all day on The River is Waiting because oh, hello. I realized that I was making quite a bit of progress, but I haven't said anything. Yeah, I am now on page 124 of The River is Waiting, and I am actually thoroughly enjoying this. I expected to, honestly. The premise of it sounded interesting and kind of bolstered by the fact that it won or was nominated for a Goodreads award. I kind of predicted, based on those two factors, that I would really enjoy this. However, I'm enjoying it a lot more than I thought. I've kind of been binging it, and I really have not read that much in terms of time today, and I'm already on page 124, which is saying a lot. So yeah, I'm about this much, maybe about 20% through. I have found myself tearing up a lot. Honestly, following the tragedy that happens in this story is really heartbreaking from everybody's perspective. From his perspective, it's really heartbreaking seeing the guilt and the hurt and the shame and all the things that he's had to kind of grapple with through the experience. Just heartbreaking, and this book does not shy away from the emotion and the intensity, and yeah, it just, I don't know, seeing everybody else's response to it as well is also so heartbreaking. So I don't know, I honestly have teared up a little bit a few times. I don't know, it's heartbreaking, but it's also really hopeful, and I could see why we started the story seeing Kobe at like his lowest low and the depth of despair and the pit that he was in, because it really is kind of setting him up for such a great redemption, and we don't obviously know what that redemption will look like, but it will be redemption, and we know that for a fact. So I think knowing that in whatever way the story will come out hopeful is keeping me turning the page. I don't want to speak too soon, but I did say I was looking for a 5-star. So
right there on top of the moon, we could sit and do nothing. I wish we were bold to just fly away. I don't wanna care, just be here and I'm good alone. I'll be okay, miss you like an old friend.
I'm still reading this book, and it's Tuesday, which is shocking because I was literally binging my way through the first half of this book, and then it just kind of started to bore me a little. I had such high hopes for this book. I really thought it was going to be a 5-star because, I don't know, the thing that I was really excited about from reading the premise was kind of exploring the relationships that he had in prison and the way that they have like irrevocably changed his life and his perspective. However, I feel like what happened in this book was that a lot of the change kind of happened before he even got to prison. So before prison, we were still kind of getting his day-to-day and like his conversations with his therapist and like his AA meetings and all of those things, and we were kind of seeing the things that he was putting in place to like mitigating factors is what you would call it in court, things that he's doing to convince the court almost that he can rehabilitate himself, basically. And so he was like doing his AA meetings, he got a new job, and all these things are really early in the story, so I don't feel like it's a spoiler. And he was clean throughout, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, the 12 weeks before his sentencing. So he had done a lot of things that he kind of wanted to before he even got to prison. So what I thought we were going to get when he got to the prison was that he was going to impact other people's lives and also be impacted by other people really deeply in a way that would change him completely. But I don't see like a complete change, and we're on page 351, so about 100 pages left, but it just feels like we've been following the same character without a lot of growth or change for the past 250 pages. So that's kind of confusing me. I thought it would have been a more gradual growth, but it just feels like he's kind of been stagnant for a really long time. So I want to sit here and see how much I can read until I have to take Stella on her walk, and I think I'll just check up when I actually finish the book and let you know how I felt about it ultimately. You're silly.
Does it make you feel alive? She's not, Catherine.
Okay, I'm on page, what is it? 238 of this book. And this has taken a very unexpected turn. I don't know. I don't think I like it. I finally finished The River is Waiting, and I have very little additional thoughts from my last update. I am glad that it's done. I'm a little disappointed in the execution of the story. I really wish we would have gotten more of a journey with our main character, and I understand the message or the different messages and the different themes that are trying to be explored in this book. However, I really thought that our main character's healing journey, as well as the impact of the relationships that he had with other people during his time in prison, would really be at the forefront of the story, and I didn't feel like they were. I feel like they were included, and they definitely were told to have impact on him, but I don't feel like we didn't see the growth and we didn't see the impact on him. I also didn't like the ending at all. I don't know, it seemed like from that pitch that this was going to be a very hopeful story with a happy ending, and so something about the ending didn't sit right with me, and I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not going to say anything else, but a specific era in time was brought up in this story, and I didn't see how that was necessary at all. I mean, we're in 2025 when this book was written, so it was kind of random. So I don't know, it wasn't what I wanted. I really wanted a 5-star, and it just wasn't that. I really thought it would be, but nevertheless we finished it, and I think if I have to choose a rating on the spot, I would say 3.5, I think. I don't know, but that does bring us to the end of today's video. So thank you so much for joining me and reading a few books with me. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye.